A good Sunday afternoon to you. This weather video is driven by 802cars.com, representing 802 Toyota, Twin Cities, Subaru, 802 Honda. They're all located off of Exit 7 on Interstate 89. Here's our storm system. Snow on the front end, transition in the middle, and tailing off is a little bit of sprinkles or light rain showers. For the most part, the back edge extends back into central and western parts of New York. And we've also seen a little bit of a gusty wind here associated along mainly the downsloping winds along the western slopes of the Green Mountains. That continues in progress, but this should start to back down roughly at around 3:30, and certainly by 4 o'clock. We've had mixed freezing rain and rain. This is going to be transitioning to all rain as temperatures make a little bit of a rise. Looking at the latest temperatures, you can see the temperatures are basically in the 30s and mostly above the freezing mark, except in the areas right in the Northeast Kingdom. These temperatures are also headed up. And we're looking at the latest European model on 6-hour increments. That system blows on through. An area of higher pressure then builds in. Forces the lower latitude, or the subtropical jet to be, that jet stream energy pushes to the south of our region. High pressure is really going to rule the roost. We have a little bit of a kind of a split in the jet. A little bit of jet stream energy tracks across a real weak, kind of small Alberta Clipper system. And then this system gets blocked by an increasing area of higher pressure located over Greenland. This Greenland blocking may eventually yield a much more snowier pattern here once we get past around the 3rd, 4th, 5th of March. This is our current storm system. This is centered on Burlington, the GFS ensemble, and you can see roughly about 3/10 of an inch or so center-lined here. Cold enough to snow here. No issues to worry about for, it looks like 3, possibly 4 days. A little bit of a indication here with that little clipper system on Wednesday night, early Thursday morning, then it's out of here. And then it gets a little more dicey here with potentially that storm system that will develop off to the south and basically south-southeast of our region off the coast. That could move northward, and if it were, it would look like it would be a kind of a mix of rain and snow. At this point in time, it looks like it's going to stay out of our hair. Folks at the Weather Prediction Center showing the heaviest rainfall to the south and east of our region, and that's going to be associated with that storm system that will be spinning to the south and east late in the week. Otherwise, it's this storm system. It might yield a ½ inch from here on out, but we're not looking at very much in the way of total precipitation here, as we're going to have several days of dry weather and some fantastic sugaring conditions, no doubt about that. West Coast is getting some beneficial rains, all good for them. Also in the interior, eastern interior sections of the west and Intermountain region. The northern Rockies eventually as well. Let's take a look at temperatures now. GFS ensemble shows here. This is centered again on Burlington. We'll start aloft. This is the 850 millibar hectopascal level, about 4,500 feet, a little higher than the top of Mount Mansfield technically. You can see pretty good calibration here with the ensemble members pretty close, so this is pretty accurate as we get warm today. We see a little bit of colder weather overall aloft, and then still staying, it looks like, cold enough to snow, but the general trend is for colder conditions once we get later in the first week of March. Not right now, though. We're seeing temperatures anywhere from 9 to 12 degrees above normal. And about 3 days later, again, these are maximum temperatures. Note the cold in the west, warm in the east. That pattern is still intact. But we start to see neutral temperatures here off the coast, and that's indicative of that storm system that'll form later in the week, next week, off the coast here. But temperatures interior areas anywhere from 3, 6 to 9 degrees above normal. Again, remains cold in the west, so just kind of shooting that back and forth. It's almost a little bit of retrogression. Not a lot of change. Looking at the actual current conditions here, this is the colder air in the purples here. And you can see a major warm intrusion that's worked into the Atlantic on the eastern side of Greenland near Iceland. It's worked its way up and into the North Pole. It's actually above freezing at the North Pole. Now, these temperature anomalies are pretty amazing. You can see just how warm this is. This is almost 30 degrees warmer than normal. And this is Celsius. This is amazing stuff. Here's our warm weather. Cold in the west, cold in Alaska, cold to the north and east of us, associated with a blocking area of higher pressure that'll actually be in the process of forming. Let's take a little stroll around the world. Europe is experiencing very cold conditions. It's kind of moved in from the north, and it's really forcing itself westward, and it's really going to affect the UK and parts of Western Europe in the next coming days. Everywhere else is warm. Northern Africa, right across Asia. Again, here's that cold blotch of air, a little bit into China as well. There's the west coast. You can see Alaska. Southern hemisphere is really not doing very much. Nothing really to show you here. Nothing extreme. It's all the northern hemisphere, and certainly on our side of the world in the northern North America as well as the Arctic. A good portion of the eastern part of the country is a little bit in a snow drought. We do have a little snow here, obviously, but we're not going to see very much over the next quite a few days. Looking over toward Europe, you can see that they've had some reap the bounties here. Northern Asia as well. Here's the look from the west coast, North America. And looking at sea ice right now, this is fairly limited amount of sea ice for this time of year, and it poses problems potentially. This is just all open up through here, and this poses problems eventually around the corner with the loss of sea ice and slowing jet streams and whatnot. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights.